Today I'm going to talk about organ harvest and organ donation.
I would be devastatingly disappointed if you didn't. I mean, it's the name of the frickin' video for Atheismo's questionably existence sake. And being that it's you, Barney, I do hope it's as mind-shatteringly bonkers as, you know, everything else you've ever said. Because you are just so very good at it.
I'm going to show you movies that prove that this really exists.
You're going to prove that organ harvesting and donation exist using movies. But we already know they exist, because they exist. And using movies, dude, movies aren't proof for anything other than someone decided to make a movie. That's not what they're there for. Maybe you should prove things using, you know, facts. I know, it's a crazy notion, demonstrating things by using reality. But I really think you should give it a go someday. It'll blow your tiny little peanut mind.
And also I'm going to talk about why people get into accidents.
Well, that's fucking ominous. Why people get into accidents? I mean, isn't the very notion of an accident is that there's no specific why? Otherwise, it's not an accident, it's an on purpose. And that scares me, because the last time I got into an on purpose, I got a bucket stuck on my head. No, not this one, the one under this one. This one was absolutely an accident. You think I wanted to look like this?
Well, let's investigate.
Always loved his "let's investigate" catchphrase because, frankly, that's just about the last thing he's actually doing. It should be "let's confirmation bias," since I'm pretty sure he comes up with an idea and then goes out to find things that he thinks supports that idea. Whether they do or not, because, frankly, if he was investigating, what he would do is have no preconceived notion and then follow evidence to its conclusion. You know, like a smart person with a brain would. Yeah, I see where I fucked up. Yeah, I know, I could have just skipped that, but screw you. I accidentally listened to it, so you have to too. That's just how the game of fuckhead jamboree works. And yes, I don't know what the hell a jamboree is. I just wanted to say it because it sounds fun, so nah.
So first of all, let's talk about organ donation.
Yes, let's, and how you can support the channel by sending me all your kidneys and livers. They will be put to great use helping me drink myself more stupid than even Barney could achieve, and thus allow me to put up with his and others' incessant gibberish. And if you are far too attached to your, you know, internal organs, then I guess you could just send me money or something instead, you damn coward. What are you even using them for? To live?
And this is quite rampant in the West, at least. It's not much, let's say, in Hungary.
Isn't Hungary, you know, part of the West? Yeah, it's literally considered a Western country. Now, obviously, the definition is a little loose when it comes to actual location, but in terms of what we call West, yeah, amazing to me that the country I believe he's from, since, you know, why bring it up? He doesn't actually know where it is. Fuck, I'm surprised he even believes in countries or the existence of cardinal directions. I mean, he is a fluff after all.
That you get a driving license and you sign that you want to donate your organs.
What? Like that you have to, because not in any place that I'm aware of. I mean, it is a thing you can choose to do in some applications, you know, because driving is still one of the riskiest forms of transportation. But as far as I'm aware, no place forces you to do it. They just ask because, you know, got to get some extra use out of those tasty body chunks. It's basically environmentalism.
And most people do this because they think it is a charity thing, it's a good thing.
I wouldn't say it was a charity thing. No one thinks their death is charity. There isn't, as far as I'm aware, a charity that collects organs to give to, I don't know, kids who lost their parents, although Organs for Orphans does have a nice ring to it. And if you give them enough organs, they could become super orphans. Although, that does give me another idea. If I have all my organs donated to the same orphan, that's just an extra life for me. Brilliant. Where do I sign?
But that was a good video. I can't find it anymore. I think it was probably
a dream. Yeah, Barnabus. You gotta stop making videos based on your weird ass nightmares. Like the time you thought airplanes stopped existing, or that the internet was full of literal demons, or that really scary one where you thought you were a worm in a hat called Hans. That one was truly terrifying.
Deleted or censored.
Deleted or censored? I mean, the thing about YouTube is they rarely delete shit. As long as you aren't being an actual garbage person, you can say some of the most insane shit you can think of and still garner a following even, and YouTube won't delete shit. Assuming that its systems don't do a big crazy and delete shit at random, but that like happens to all kinds of stuff that doesn't actually deserve it. And I'm not saying that it never happens, but it's pretty rare. I think a better explanation, though, is what usually happens when someone says something extremely stupid on the internet and people notice. They have endless streams of piss taken out of them and either quietly remove the video out of embarrassment, or they private it in the hopes of slipping it back in when no one is looking anymore. Although, to be fair, the vast majority of you fuckers seem to double down and decide that being called out somehow makes you even more correct.
But there was a guy who had an inside information about this, and he said, when you do that...
He had an inside information, did he? Was it from the office of shit he was making up? All the zombie vampires in Parliament cheer and slaughter another goat as a burnt offering to the incredibly British blood god of Jeffrey, a giant plate of cotton chips. So Jeffers will allow them to again vote to give themselves another pay rise. God, politics is confusing.
Most often than not, or at least it happens several times, you may get into an accident.
More often than not, or at least several times you get into an accident, I'm presuming, after you sign up for organ donation with your driver's license. Now, that's obviously supposed to be get into an accident in gigantic quotes. But let's just say, suspicious or no, that people after signing up for a driver's license and an organ card get into accidents. Well, no shit, Sherlock. They're newly minted drivers. I mean, for fuck's sake, driving, right, is really dangerous and kinda difficult. And even if you drive perfectly all the time, never breaking any rules and being 100% safe, that won't stop some jackass in a beat-up piece of shitmobile from zooming down a blind corner and smashing right into your ass, to then walk away without a scratch on their stupid piece of shit body, while you look like a bad bit of modern art. It's the nature of driving, for fuck's sake.
Interestingly, you get into an accident just after you signed it.
Interestingly? I think you mean obviously, and it's not like it's everyone. I mean, what exactly are the numbers? I would bet that they are the same, or at least similar, between people who ticked the box and people who didn't. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if the person who was more conscientious is probably going to be a safer driver at that. So it would be both hilarious to your point and unsurprising if signing the card lowered the odds of getting into an accident at all.
It may not be right away, maybe after a couple of years.
It may even be never. I wonder why. Maybe because there's no one hunting them down for fucking organs? Because that's not a thing? I mean, having a member of society who has enough money to maintain a car is probably going to be slightly more useful than stealing their lungs.
Whenever they need that kind of body part that you have.
Of course, let's not forget, car accidents are well known for their ability to delicately preserve specific organs. So that would be a brilliant way to get the parts you want, especially if you're in a hurry. Obviously, I'm being facetious. No, in fact, what they actually do is get some poor bastard trying to escape a war-torn, impoverished circumstance to hand over various body parts in exchange for getting them out of wherever it is to wherever they're going. Makes a lot more sense than hoping that a guy's kidney survives being flung into a fucking ravine, doesn't it?
They will create an accident so that they can harvest your organs.
No, they won't. It's such an incredibly stupid conspiracy. I mean, for fuck's sake. You seriously think that an organization that is happy to have you killed so they can pinch your eyeballs are going to give a shit whether or not you ticked a fucking box in an application? That box is getting ticked after your accident, whether you like it or not, you know, because you're fucking dead in a pile of pieces. And the funny thing about piles of chopped up bodies, they're not really known for their vociferous defense of their own rights. So they're just going to scoop up a couple of people in the man-scooping vans, pile them all into the organ pits for processing, all while saying they were sent to a happy fun time joy farm to live out the rest of their days having pillow fights and picnics. I mean, that's my plan anyway. It's foolproof.
So that's basically what it is. Even without that person, I think it's quite obvious that you shouldn't sign that fucking donation paper.
Yeah, no, that's completely absurd. To think that after ticking a box, they are going to hunt you down is so completely asinine it beggars belief. I mean, there are plenty of ways they could get organs nefariously that would make infinitely more sense, and they don't seem to be doing that either. There are prisoners. What are they going to do if you lock them up and poison their food, or just lethal injection them when they go to the infirmary after a light scuffle? Or how about the jobless in the UK? You have to go through the misery of the job centre to talk to an advisor once a fortnight or something to keep receiving government financial assistance. Well, what if it takes too long to get a job? Well, today you get to go into the special door. Oh, friends and family, isn't it amazing that your beloved one got a terrific job in a faraway place? They'll be sure to send you a letter for at least 3 months before falling off the face of the planet. I can think of a million of them, all better than, I hope they didn't wear a seatbelt. Just, you know, copyright, do not steal. You gotta pay me for these ideas, Mr. Secret CIA person. This shit ain't free, bro.
And yeah, so please don't sign that.
How compelling. And I love the little text box you put there. If you signed it, please revoke it officially. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, they will kill you, but ticking a box that you didn't want? Huh. Why, that would be criminal. We got to make sure that they agree to us murdering them brutally, kinda, sorta, before we can, you know, murder them indiscriminately. Look, man, I get not wanting other people to get your precious insides just because you're dead, but admit it to yourself instead of making up reasons why, you know?
So now I'm going to show you a couple of movie clips that talk about the organ harvest.
Okay, I mean, how some fictional story that is made up, more than likely purely for entertainment, is going to be reflective of anything even close to reality, I'm not entirely sure. It would seem to me that they might be, you know, not actually real events that happened. I mean, even movies based on true events make up shit all the time. You really shouldn't be getting your idea about how reality works from the fucking cinema.
And they give us quite a good insight into what's going on behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes of what exactly? Like, usually there is very little in the way of concrete whodunit in these videos. Only theys and thems and the wizards, but never, this guy here stole my intestines. I guess it's liability, maybe? Perhaps Barnes is not as stupid as he looks, or sounds, or acts, or you know what, never mind.
And I think it's quite sad.
It is quite sad that a grown man sits around making up stuff all day to scare himself and others silly about shit that just doesn't really happen, when what they should be doing is being terrified of me and all the terrible shit I have planned for humanity. You know, when I get round to it, but there's the next Yakuza game is coming out soon, and BoJack Horseman needs to be rewatched, and yeah, I'll get to it when I get to it. Stop hassling me.
But, you know, I can't really show you here because
You can't show me? Well, that's probably a good call, because I'll just make fun of it for being a shit film if it's bad and no one's heard of it. Or make fun of you for thinking that this good, popular film was allowed by the powers that be to be shown to the plebs, instead of, you know, accidenting the writers, directors, cast, crew, and catering all into a nearby volcano, accidentally.
Yeah, I would be censored right away, I guess.
Oh my god, using random clips of other people's content and getting copyright flagged is not being censored, you over-dramatic plonker. I mean, I'm not saying it's cool, necessarily. They do it regardless if you are using it under fair use or what have you, but it's usually just them trying to stop people from using their shit. And it's really obvious when it's a deliberate attempt to avoid criticism, and I seriously doubt that that's what you are going to do. Although, to be fair, I would not blame them if they just didn't want to be associated with your dumbass. Or mine, for that matter.
So, if you want to watch the full video, then go to my website, and there will be a link also. And see you on the other side.
Oh no, if only I had.
Now, before I go into showing you the clips, I wanted to show you this article, Hang the Bankers.
Haha, I got the full one. Although hanging bankers, can you leave mine alone at least until I get my cash out? I need all 12 of those pounds I have left to buy some cheap whiskey to get through as much of this shit as I can before I do a big crazy.
And why you should not become an organ donor. I hope this is quite obvious by now, but this is a good article couple of things I probably would disagree with.
Think that it's probably a shit article, which is why it appears to have been nuked from the internet. And as far as I can tell, it's a wild misrepresentation of a story that had happened at the time. Basically, the article says they pretend a woman was dead so they could steal her delicious esophagus. But when she woke up, and they decided to stop for no reason. And the actual story is someone had slipped into a coma due to a drug overdose. The doctors mispronounced them as brain dead and went on to attempt to harvest when they woke up and the doctors shit themselves because they nearly killed someone through no small amount of incompetence on their part, it seems. Not exactly the same story, is it? And literally the only one I can find. Although I would be entirely unsurprised if it has happened before and since. But it's not something that happens intentionally. In fact, people get kind of pissy about it for some reason.
They're also quoting some fake news, so obviously there are some fakery here as well.
Hey, this thing agrees with me, but it also says things that I genuinely believe are lies. How about don't fucking use a source that you know lies to you? What the hell, dude? I mean, I give you and all people on my channel the benefit of the doubt invariably, but damn, really makes me feel as stupid as you look, sound, smell. Yeah, I know we already did this bit, but I'm just making sure that he knows, okay?
But there's always some truth in it, so...
And there's nutrients in a pile of shit, but you shouldn't be eating it. Much like you shouldn't believe hysterical nonsense from obvious outrage farms, and you shouldn't take seriously the nonsense of internet cranks who believe everything they hear, including from people they know are liars, apparently. But maybe that's just me being a big silly dumbass.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the